Hello, everybody. I'm Miss Melanie Teach, JA, although I'm thinking of revamping that name. I will say that I have been off for a long, long time. It's been drastic changes in my life, and I will do an update in this week to upload to give you kind of like an idea of what's happening, updates, changes in life, all of that. So if you are new here, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe, leave a comment, a like. I am planning on doing a Q&A video as well, so that would be really helpful. And just as a bit of backstory, I'm a Jamaican teacher originally. So I know the accent. I'm teaching in the UK now. I've been in the UK since 2023 teaching. Yeah, so today's video, I'm planning on doing a two-part on that. And if you see me looking down, it's really because I'm just checking my notes. Now, this video is going to be about, is the UK actually still affordable for international, like, people or immigrants, I should say. And I will say at the end of the video, I think you can make your judgment on that. I think it's really, really, really dependent on each person's situation. All right, now, what I want to focus on in this part of it is what I or my specific family, and we're a family of three, myself, husband, and one child, that's about to be six, spends on a monthly basis. And I think, based on the feedback that I've gotten from other people as well, I think a lot of people will find this to be on the higher end. Now, on the rent, which I think arguably, or not arguably, is always the biggest expense in the UK. Currently, we're lucky enough, we're up north, so we're in the Northamptonshire area. And for rent for a two-bedroom, one bath, living room, kitchen, we spend £825 per month, and that's pretty much just the rent. In the UK, that's typical. So if you're renting, you'd pay for your rent. Nothing else normally comes with it. If you're like letting, I think they call it, or having a lease or something like that, then you'd normally have all the bills included. But we're doing all that, so 825 for rent. Now, the next biggest expense that we have is going to be our food and miscellaneous bill, which currently we're thinking of increasing, but yeah. All right, now currently we spend £400, and that's just three of us. Prior to this, my family just joined us. When I say just joined, it's almost a year now, and we are spending £400. And when I say on food and miscellaneous, that's grocery shopping altogether. So spending on the road. So that's like household cleaning products, food, all the things, deodorant, personal care, all of that. So £400 is what we put it at, but I think most times it really comes out to about 450. It could really easily be £500, and apparently, yeah, a lot of people are going through that as well. So £400 for food. Third expense. So we're going based on the household ones first. Other expense would be council tax, which is our next biggest one. Council tax right now is £126. And how the council tax works is you can either choose a 10-month plan, or you can actually do like a 12-month plan. We went with a 12-month option, and that's why we're paying 126. So obviously, if it was 10 months, it would be a bit more. So that's how council tax works, and that's basically like your property tax, your stuff for like the community and stuff like that. Next biggest one is going to be our gas and electric. So in England, obviously being a cold-ish country, you have to pay for gas for cooking, heating, all of that, and we're gas heated. So gas and electric all together. Octopus, shout out, not sponsored, but if you're listening, Octopus. So that's the name of the company I go with, Octopus, and for them we pay 107 currently. And how that works is I'm on a fixed one. So I think some people are on like they pay for what they use monthly. So in the summer months they pay a small bill, and in the winter they pay a higher bill. But I like stability, so I just go for an overall bill. Based on how I'm using it, they'll say, okay, I think you'll need a bit more or a bit less, and so on and so forth. So we pay monthly, regardless of if we use a lot or not. unless we've used drastically above what we're meant to. It's normally 107. Wi-Fi, we pay £26, and that's because we got a discount. And I'll tell you where to look for these discounts in a second or in another video. And that's with Virgin Media. For water, thankfully, we've always used Anglian water. I think that's like the normal one to use. And we only pay £48, and that's a fixed one as well. So they say, okay, you're not using more than that, 48. Initially, when we came, though, it was 24. Well, apparently, I think we take a bit too many showers. I think that's because of just Jamaica, you know. Yeah. Then we also have our phone bills. So for me and my husband, we never take phones on like plans. So initially, I did that because I wanted to actually build my credit, new person in the country, and all that. But now that we don't do that anymore, we pay between £12 and £15 on a monthly basis. That's for both of us. And that's also with a discount that I'll tell you at the end. And that's really, really cheap compared to what it could be. Before, I was paying £11 for just my plan, right? And I get, I believe, 10 gigs. We both get 10 gigs each, unlimited text and calls, and like you're always somewhere with Wi-Fi anyway. So 10 gigs, we never even go near that. So house insurance is optional. We choose to pay house insurance just because of security. Like it covers so much. Like anything happens pretty much to the house, we would never have to worry that we'd have to think about, okay, the refrigerator breaks or the stove breaks or something like that. That's not the landlord's responsibility. We don't have to worry about it. We contact our house insurance providers. Honestly, I can't remember who I used, but I'll check and probably leave it in the description. Next is also optional. We went for a health cash plan. Now, I know everyone's going to be like, oh, NHS is free and blah, blah, blah. But anybody that's actually lived in the UK will know that, yeah, if you're not dead or dying, honestly, it doesn't feel like you're getting through to the GPs, and we don't have time to wait. And that's not like trying to be like awful or posh or anything. It's just like with the things that we need, like dental, optical. My son wears glasses. I've started wearing glasses. Um, like the NHS wouldn't do anything for us. So we pay through our company. This would have been £43, 40 to £43 monthly for all three of us. But because of my school subsidized my words, subsidized this for us, I paid £27 out of my salary. And yeah, that covers dental. We get like 100 and I think £120 for dental, 120 for optical. And because we're dentist is cleaning is only like £65. That's almost 2 cleanings a year. That's really good to me. I got my glasses, 2 pairs for £70 because they have deals. It's just like, yeah. Plus they have other benefits. They have like prescription, £25 and all that. I'll put that in a different video if you'd like. So please drop that in the comments if you'd like to see something about that. My husband currently goes to the gym. We both were going, but because of how strenuous work can be, I've decided to do just home workout because I've been wasting money paying for it and not going. So he pays £20 currently for gym. Petrol, it's a bit of an experiment currently we just recently got the car. It's been less than a month. Currently he's paying £50 roughly is what we're estimating, knock on wood, praying for the best, on gas. After school club for my son. Now, thankfully, because we've actually gotten that car, my son no longer has to go to breakfast club because my husband works way later than us. He can drop him off on time. So my son doesn't have to go to breakfast clubs. That would have cost us £70. So that's been knocked off completely. So I put £48 because twice in a week I'll have some extracurricular, whether it's clubs or after school meetings that I'll have to do, and non-negotiable is in our contract. So I say £48 to £50 on a monthly basis for that. Now, apart from that, the annoying part about being a teacher sometimes can be if your child's school doesn't directly line up with your calendar, meaning if I'm going back to school, he's staying back home for another 2 days, and my husband has to work, I have to work, obviously. I have to drop him off with a babysitter. Now, thankfully, it's not for long, so we normally budget about £50. It's not every single month, but if it is, it's never more than £50 for the 1 or 2 days of the month that he has to go there, and that's really, really, really cheap. And I had to really search to find that. That can also be a video if you like as well, guys. Just give me ideas. Happy to do any. Um, we also do life insurance because, like, I've never not had life insurance ever since I've been an adult. And that's £10 on a monthly basis. Um, Transport. So apart from just gas, because it's only the one car, I'm not a driver. I don't like driving, honestly. My We only have one car, and my husband mostly does that. So if ever he can't pick us up from school, so that's either my son or myself or both, we budget about £50 roughly monthly that we'd have to either get a taxi, a bus, or any other means of transport. Nails, it's not every single month, but I try to have that be my one happy thing. And I'm currently going to get my new sets. So, and for basics, French tips and all that, £35. As I said, we're up north, reasonable. Um, and then what we try to do is other things that are not really that budgeted or like unexpected. I know they say you can't plan for the unexpected, but that's not really me. I have to have a plan. We try to say £200 for both of us, £100 each typically for spending, and that's for anything else that we just happen to want to buy. So if we're out and we want to buy an ice cream, stuff like that. And then last thing on the list, which is a funny one, what I like to call black tax, or what a lot of people call black tax. So obviously, being an immigrant, you'd have family back home, and something will come up. Something will come up always. So we try to budget between the two of us, £300 roughly. Fluctuates, can be less, hardly ever less, can be more, but on average, £300 for if anything comes up. And with it being Jamaica that we're sending it to, £300 is roughly about 60,000 Jamaican dollars. So it can do, I wouldn't say a great deal, but a bit of stuff. You see what I mean? So in total, we have our budget, depending on what happens, fluctuating between £2,000 to £2,300 on the total spend. Now, I think it's always not nauseating to kind of think about the total figure when you look at it, because it's just like that would basically be someone's entire salary, someone that's average. So I'm thinking, like, who would be able to do all of this on just one salary? It's nearly impossible. No, as I said, is it still worth it? Or affordable to live in the UK? I will say yes and no. I think as a single person, it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard, next to impossible, because your expenses will probably be a bit less than this, just a tiny bit. It wouldn't be that drastic. And then this is just expenses in the north. Um, Pardon. Now that would be considered to be like up north, way in the country. Well, I'm not even that up north. I'm like East Midlands essentially. But it's just like people would say this is in Jamaica. We'd say it's country. It's me like back a bush, back a God foot. But it's just like it's not next to London. It's 1 hour away from London, but if I was in London, this would have easily been three grand, 3 5 for our family. So it's just like it depends on where you are. Firstly, this is in a more affordable area in the country. And even then, it's getting expensive. So I will say it's getting extremely expensive, next to impossible. On one salary with kids, awful. I have single friends that have no kids, no partner, and they're still complaining, making similar take home pay to me. And I just think it's getting expensive. So overall, is it still worth it? Is it still reasonable and affordable? Yes and no. I think it's highly dependent on your situation, but I think for the most part, I'm leaning 80% to saying no and maybe a 20% to being yes. So it just really depends on where you fall on the pay scale and how you're able to budget it and what your expenses are like. Now, if you enjoyed this video, if you made it this far, please drop a yardie down in the comment section. I don't mind sending me questions. I try my best to, once I see the notification, to have an answer to that. Drop me suggestions on what you'd like to hear about, and based on how popular that is, I don't mind having a video on it or a Q&A, including it in my Q&A, and I'll probably do a Q&A every couple of months just to keep it up to date. And yeah, but I'm also gonna make my Instagram public so that I can actually have people reach out to me on Instagram as well. And I'll put that down in the description, also should be linked. Now, thank you for stopping by, and I hope this was helpful. Until next time, this is your Melanin Teach from JA.